Johnny! Johnny! Gusto! He didn't answer.
No, I don't think I'm gonna murder him. I think.
Oh, Johnny. Johnny.
Call Brad.
Brad will come. I'm saying, are you coming now?
No.
He said he can be here in 20.
That's fine.
I said, it's okay, we're not mad. It's an honest mistake and you're a sweet boy.
No.
And then I texted again after that, but also get your ass over here.
Classic.
Live from the Sycamore Lounge, it's time to muster the gusto with James and Sean.
Okay.
John.
I feel like I have to stand up as I explain myself.
You can stand up. Okay, John. So first off, welcome to Muster the Gusto.
Oh,
the
thanks for having
topic
me.
is inebriation.
Yes, an
but
easy
before
one.
we get to that,
Okay.
you were late.
I
Why
was
were you
late.
late?
You got some explaining.
So I had a very, very long night last night
Yeah.
because I was at my uncle's cancer benefit, and now you guys are making me feel really terrible about being late. I think you're a bunch of bad guys.
Is that true?
That is true.
He did tell me he was.
But that is definitely not why I was late. I just totally wanted to make you guys feel terrible. But I mean, it had to do with it. I just forgot. Me and Sean talked about it. I never even talked to you about it ever. I don't even think we.
Well, I've been away.
Yeah.
You haven't
You're
seen
on
me.
you're on your showcation.
Well, I did a lot of things. I went to Cape May. You ever go to Cape May?
I have been to Cape May. It's pretty cool.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful.
There's a lot of white people.
I did notice that. I
it's
would say it
nice,
was 99.8% white people.
Like those old beautiful houses and stuff right on the water, like almost Cape Cod-ish. I don't know. I've never been there. But
I've never
I
been to
assume
Cape
that's
Cod
what
either.
Cape Cod
That's
is like.
most
Is
likely,
Cape May.
yeah.
Cape May's
I mean,
pretty.
Cape anything.
Yeah, Cape something. Is.
Yeah, Cape Fear.
Which one?
Oh, there's more than one?
Yeah.
What about? I just thought. I don't know. I've never seen any of them. I just know in Rick and Morty when the little lady is underneath the car and she's like, Cape Fear.
That's from like the Scorsese Cape Fear in the 90s. There was
Is
a
that
Cape
with,
Fear in like the 60s. That was the original one.
Is that with Robert De Niro?
Yeah, that's a great movie.
So guess what?
Yeah.
At the cancer benefit last night, on a more happier note,
Yes.
there was a raffle for a bunch of prizes, and one of the prizes was a giant poster of the comedian, the movie poster of the comedian with Robert De Niro, signed by Robert De Niro.
Did you get it?
I put in so many tickets to get it, and I was like, I want this so bad. Like, Robert De Niro's the coolest motherfucker of all time.
Of course, yeah.
But
Comedian was pretty good too.
I never saw it, but I heard it was terrible.
It was alright.
I feel like I've referenced like 7 things already that I just have not seen.
You should watch
John.
Cape Fear.
I should definitely watch
Cape Fear is pretty great.
I should probably watch the one where he has the gun too in the woods. That one?
What? Oh, the Deer Hunter?
Yeah, I should see that
The one where he has the gun in the woods?
Yeah, right? Isn't that the movie? Robert De Niro with a gun in the woods.
That's what it's called.
Deer Hunter.
I've never actually seen. Well, I've seen parts of it, but it's apparent it's very intense.
Everyone's like, yo, it's intense, but I feel like it's one of those movies that I'd get like super baked before I watched it.
Oh,
and
I don't recommend that.
and I would get, you know what I'm saying? I'd get freaked out. I'd be like,
So you could not get baked before it.
I could
that is
do,
an
no, it's an option. I don't know. When I think of watching that movie, I'm like, yo, it would be super dope, and then I'm like, but I'd probably have a panic attack.
Did you ever see Mean Streets?
No.
Oh, that's great.
Is that with who else is in that? Oh wait, no, I have seen that. That's Scorsese too, right? That's an older Scorsese.
That was the first Scorsese
with
movie
Harvey
De Niro.
Keitel. No,
Yeah, and
Harvey
yes,
Keitel.
Harvey
I've seen that
Keitel.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great in that.
Yeah, that movie's pretty cool. That and Raging Bull, right? Those are
Raging Bull is incredible.
There was a time where I was trying to watch all the like Scorsese De Niro movies.
There's not that.
But there's
I mean,
not that many.
There's
I
a
think
lot,
I've
but
probably
there's
seen
not
all of them,
that
besides
many.
Cape Fear.
Yeah, Cape Fear is great. He's like so evil. That's like one of the best villains you've ever seen in a movie.
He's the coolest dude. He's a way more flexible actor than anybody ever really gives him credit for.
Yeah,
Like
man.
he's funny as fucking that shitty movie too with Zac Efron.
Dirty
oh man,
Grandpa?
yeah, Dirty Grandpa,
Is
or
that
or
good?
Neighbors, or some shit with Zac Efron and
Neighbors is with Seth Rogen, right?
yeah, never mind.
But Dirty Grandpa, I think.
I think yeah. Honestly, De Niro was funny in that movie. Was terrible, but he was.
I think some movies let you know what's going on with the title. So there's a movie called Dirty Grandpa, and I think I'm good. I don't need to.
No,
Yeah.
but like, all right, but if it's Dirty Grandpa and the Dirty Grandpa is Robert De Niro,
Fair, that's fair.
you know, if Dirty Grandpa was, I don't know. I'm trying to think of
who
someone
else?
weird. So I'm trying to think of an actor who I wouldn't see as Dirty Grandpa. Probably
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte, maybe not.
No, I'd have to watch that.
Who's the guy?
Not
Who,
John Lithgow?
who's the guy who played Pee Wee Herman?
Paul Rubens?
Yeah, Paul Rubens as Dirty Grandpa. I did not.
He's
want
not
to
old
see.
enough to be like grandpa.
But he's
though.
creepy enough to be a weird Dirty Grandpa.
You know who would make a great dirty grandpa?
Who?
Almost two on the nose. John Waters.
Yeah,
That's
you
true.
really would.
He would be a good one.
I'd watch John Waters' Dirty Grandpa.
John Waters.
I don't know if I'd want to see that.
What about what's his name? Oh my God,
I
the
can't
little
watch
short guy
John
from New
Waters
Jersey.
movies.
There's a little short guy from
Danny
New Jersey,
DeVito?
Danny DeVito as Dirty Grandpa.
I'd watch that. Yeah.
That sounds like a good time.
Danny DeVito's great.
Danny DeVito as my grandfather would just be the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, he'd make a great grandfather.
Danny DeVito plays your grandfather.
I was just listening to a podcast that was mentioning Danny DeVito, and apparently he like really is passionate about movies behind the scenes, and he was kind of instrumental in getting Pulp Fiction made,
Really?
which is pretty cool.
Why wasn't he in it?
That would have been great.
Right?
Who would he have played?
I don't know, but I want
Christopher
him
Walken's part?
I want him in it. That would be awesome.
That would've been
I want
cool.
him
That
in a,
would've been awesome.
in a Tarantino movie. Has he been in one? No. Right?
No.
He was almost in Detective Pikachu. They
That's not
did
a
bunch of
Tarantino
tests
movie.
With him as Pikachu, and then the end.
That would have been dope. That's the only way you could have gotten me to see that movie because I
Fun
hate
part
Ryan
is at the
Reynolds.
end, you know, they're talking to about
Yeah.
Pokemon. It's
I
like,
know.
what the fuck is a Pikachu? You just auditioned for this. I'm just here.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, he doesn't know. He's not.
Did you refer to him as the short guy from New Jersey?
Yeah, I'm doing that thing where I forget everyone's names and I'm just gonna give the most ridiculous. No, not ridiculous, but on the nose thing I could say about them that would maybe trigger your memory because mine's fried.
Oh yeah, I got it. I'm on top of it. He's from
Yeah,
Neptune, isn't he?
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Sick. All right. Well, we've
Love
talked a lot about Danny DeVito and
Mhm.
Robert De Niro,
Good things, both good things.
for sure. So, do we get to the meat of it?
Yeah, what's better than Robert
Let's-
De Niro and Danny DeVito?
Uh,
Being inebriated.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah,
I
right?
thought I was supposed to think of a person.
Or being inebriated with them
Yeah,
would be fantastic.
that would be fantastic.
Really? Danny
Yeah.
DeVito, maybe. Robert
No,
De Niro.
maybe not De Niro.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, De Niro and Jackie Brown goes pretty hard. He smokes a ton of weed, which is hilarious. The idea of him smoking weed is like the funniest shit I could ever think of.
We were just talking about Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
It's really super underrated.
Oh yeah, that's like one of my favorite movies.
Jackie Brown's
Or not
great, yeah.
favorite, but
And he's great in that movie because he's just like, he's so subdued until he's not
Yeah,
subdued.
and it's also funny because he plays such a quiet, like reserved role, and at that time, like he was the biggest actor in that movie, right? Like he was huge at that point. This is
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, that
I
is,
know, Michael
you know,
Keaton was in it, and he was big
true,
at the time.
but that was when Michael Keaton was like post Batman, like
yeah,
out of shape. What am I doing with my life? He probably bought a bunch of cars and went through a midlife crisis.
I'm sure. Michael Keaton doesn't really. He's good in that movie, but I feel like he's.
He's overrated.
I love Michael Keaton. Don't. don't
Michael
talk
Keaton
smack
plays
about
Michael Keaton. But I guess there's nothing wrong with that. There's
Oh,
plenty of actors that do
Beetlejuice,
that.
though. I mean, that's
Beetlejuice. Oh, okay, true. He's like next level in that movie.
Beetlejuice. Is
He's
awesome.
amazing in that movie.
Yeah, I love Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jackie Brown, great one, man.
Good movie. How
Yeah.
do you feel about Jackie Brown?
I love Jackie Brown.
Where do you rank it in the Tarantino multiverse?
I would say like a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
We had discussed before, Inglourious Basterds probably number 1.
Number one.
Hateful Eight might be a 2 for me.
Really?
John wasn't a super big fan of Hateful Eight, were you?
I like
I love
everything Tarantino has ever touched,
Yeah.
so I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Ever touched?
Oh,
It's toilet
he
paper.
touched a lot of feet.
Do you like westerns at all?
I do.
Because I feel like if you weren't crazy about like western as genre,
I liked
you
the
might not
movie. I
necessarily
liked
like
the
it.
movie a lot. I just never want to watch it again. It was
It
a
is-
lot. It was a long movie. I not never watch it again. I'll revisit, and I do want to watch the extended version of it because
I
I think.
want to watch
the
that.
extended
Yeah.
cut.
But what I really want to watch the extended cut of is the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because that movie had so many scenes cut, so many characters cut.
Yeah,
Like
they
Harvey
did
Keitel
have-
was supposed to be in
Was
it.
it really?
Tim Roth.
Or Tim, no, I'm sorry, Tim Roth was supposed to be
Tim
in it,
Roth
and his
was-
character was completely cut from the movie.
Yeah.
I would imagine I would be very offended by that if I was.
Yeah, right.
But you still get paid, I guess. But still,
I'm
like,
sure.
hey.
But especially Tim Roth, he's like, you give Michael Madsen work, but you can't even put me on screen. Have you seen that fucking guy? He looks like someone beat the shit out of him, and he like constantly. He's a mitt.
His voice
He's a
and
He's
catcher's
had,
mitt.
he's had a rough life.
He has a catcher's mitt for a face. What do you mean he has a rough life?
He's had a rough
Oh, don't.
life.
I actually now I'm gonna feel like an asshole. I feel like you're gonna drop some knowledge on me about Michael Madsen that I don't.
No,
wanna
I don't
hear.
know like a particular lot about
You're
him. I just
saying
know he's lived
been
hard.
hard living.
He has
yeah.
lived hard.
It's a hard knock.
You can tell on that face, just looking at that.
Did
face.
you know he was supposed to play Dr. Evil in Austin Powers?
Is that true?
For real?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, I don't know why I,
I could
said
never
that.
imagine.
Is that a complete lie?
Yeah,
It
Michael
makes
Madsen was supposed to play Dr. Evil, and then he was like, "Guys, I'm not fucking doing this." And then they were just
No,
like, "Oh,
did
I'll
you
just play
guys-
both people."
That's
Is that really what happened?
No.
That's stupid and made up. But did you know he was actually supposed he was actually supposed to play Rain Man.
No, he
that
wasn't.
a
Michael
lie,
Madsen.
too?
was
Michael
supposed to play
Madsen, Rain Man?
Yeah.
Michael Madsen, Rain Man.
As
that
Rain
true?
Man. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Did you imagine? I mean, I've never seen Rain Man, so I'm gonna again talk
I've
about
never
a
seen
movie
it
I've never
either,
seen
yeah.
before.
But I mean, you,
But I feel like
you
that'd be
get it.
ridiculous.
You get it. Aren't there certain movies where it's like I never seen it, but I get it.
You get it. Yeah.
I know what's going on.
You know
here.
what's happening.
Yeah, like I don't know. What's one that I would say that's happened?
Isn't John Travolta supposed to play Forrest Gump? Can you imagine that?
Oh my god.
Speaking of John Travolta, though, who's seen the trailer for The Fanatic?
That looks great.
Did you see the trailer for
Looks
that?
great.
No.
Oh,
I'm a big Travolta guy. I love Battlefield Earth. I know this was
We
brought up.
watched
At
This
some
might
point.
be.
Wait, you
We
watched it?
watched it.
You did.
Joe
What,
and I
what were your
watched
thoughts?
Fantastic. One of the best movies I've ever
Yeah,
watched.
exactly.
My only complaints are the damn. It's not what everybody
Those
says.
weird
Everybody says, oh,
angles.
it's a shitty movie because it's no. They overdid the angle.
Yeah.
The angles are
Oh,
ridiculous.
it's crazy.
There's shots that are like they look like they're from security cameras up in the corners of the room, like you're watching security camera
My favorite
footage.
part that I forgot about because I've watched it a few times. Like when I was a kid, you know,
Yeah.
didn't have all these channels. It was
When I was a kid, I
CBS.
just watched Mormon
It's
propaganda.
Sunday on CBS. So what do they show?
True.
Yeah.
Battlefield
Oh no,
Earth.
Scientology propaganda.
And when they
Mormon?
get in those fucking Harriers,
Scientology. Yes.
and they're showing the Dome City, and all of a sudden these Harriers they're just hovering there, you know, these
Yeah.
tribal dudes and jets. It
Yeah,
was
it's
fucking
ridiculous.
They learned how to fly jets.
Yeah.
It was great.
You can teach old dogs new tricks.
I
think
want
that
to talk
was
to you about The Fanatic.
Okay.
We're getting off topic.
I know,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Fanatic
I just
is,
love that movie.
Well, I want you to know what this is. 'cause
Okay.
This is
It's a
important.
new film.
New film about
directed by.
Fred Durst.
Wait.
Need I
should we-
say more?
You're
we not
kidding.
do
No, that's not a joke.
Wait,
Should
it's
we
being
have him
directed
do a
by
reaction
Fred
video
Durst.
to it?
Yeah.
Should
Can
I
we?
just go grab the laptop?
Yeah.
and watch
Okay,
it?
we're gonna do that
Oh,
real quick.
no.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's,
Is it like bad? Am I gonna like?
It looks. You've seen the trailer, right, Sean?
Yeah.
It does not look good.
Okay.
And just Travolta's whole thing in the movie. I mean, it's.
I love bad movies, and I love John Travolta, and I love bad movies with John Travolta.
It's funny because he's a good actor, isn't he? Maybe.
No, I don't. Think
Maybe
so.
he's not.
I don't think he is. Oh shit! I get a laptop.
This is how bad it is. And I mean bad in a very good way.
But he's got this haircut.
He always has a
and-
haircut.
and
Every
he-
movie he's in, he has a weird
he has,
fucking haircut.
and he has a Hawaiian shirt he's
That
wearing
I
for
don't
some
wanna see.
reason, and he's like obsessed with this like real young actor for some reason. Again, and it's just.
And he's a rap rock producer,
Yeah.
artist.
And he's
of some
wearing a
sort.
red
Yeah,
Yankees
just-
hat the whole time.
All right. Rated R. Okay. I need to hear it. I don't know how. Well, this thing is state of
You need glasses?
No, I got it. I got this. Who is that? Is that Michael Fassbender?
Yep. No.
No.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr.
That is such a ridiculous haircut. He looks like a dude you would just see in like Williamsburg at a vegan place, and he's causing a ruckus.
I'm a fan.
I still backpack. You have to be careful. I don't want you to be accused of stalking.
Hey, you can't just come to my private residence looking for me.
Dude.
Listen, pal, I don't know how you found me, but I don't ever want to see you in this neighborhood again.
Not every Hollywood story can have a happy ending. Where is this going? Oh, all right. This is just misery.
Pretty much, yeah.
This is misery. What? John Travolta. Oh my God. The fan attic.
It's gonna be
Yeah, so that's just misery.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. It pretty much is.
It just is.
It's the same thing, yeah.
Fred Durst was like, "Yo, John Travolta, what if you like played a socially awkward man with a terrible hipster haircut, and I had you break some writer's leg and like sleep in his house? Like, that's just, I don't know. No movie ideas are unique anymore. Everything's derivative. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, there was another movie with Wesley Snipes and Robert De Niro, right? Called The Fan.
The Fan.
But he was like a sports player, and Robert De Niro was obsessed with Wesley
Wait,
Snipes.
obsessed with Wesley Snipes?
Yeah.
Is this pre-Blade Wesley Snipes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. This was like '93.
So
I
he didn't go crazy yet, or was he just always crazy?
I feel like he was always a little
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. But anyway, that was a movie that
Yeah.
seemed like to have a very similar premise.
Sure.
Seems to be like a tried and true thing, like obsessed.
Tried and true
fan.
formula. I think it's because it's real. Like, did you hear about like all those dudes that ate the bathwater of that Twitch streamer?
What?
You remember that? Yeah.
He hasn't heard it. He
Yeah.
claims this
So
one.
I don't know the details very. So I'm not really much on the internet all that much.
I don't know about that.
Not that. No, not enough.
Not
Or
as
maybe.
much as this guy.
Yeah. Not as much as this guy. So yeah, there are a bunch of dudes. I guess you like this chick.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of dudes like this chick. She's
Belle
like,
Delphine.
Belle Delphine.
What does she do?
Shout out Belle Delphine.
Can you explain to me what
Delphine.
Twitch is? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, right. She's a Twitch streamer, right?
Twitch is it's basically a platform for streaming your video games
Okay.
and your.
So
Yeah.
this
Or just
young
things in
lady
general.
plays.
Yeah,
I'm
just
assuming
things,
she's a
yeah.
young
I'm
lady.
assuming she plays video games. I think.
plays video games.
And dudes watch her play video games
Yeah, I believe
and
so.
probably idolize her in a weird,
She also sells like her premium Snapchat
Oh yeah.
that she'll like get
Play-
unclothed.
Oh, so
Yeah.
she okay.
She will get naked for you.
So she plays video games and gets naked,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
That
they
sounds like
like
a
that.
time.
She's not just Twitch streamer. She's the Instagram influencer.
Uh oh.
So she doesn't play video
There's
games.
a whole new
The-
fold to
She's
this.
not a Twitch.
No, the Twitch streamer.
Oh, the
Was
one
the one
who
that
was
drank the
abusing
water.
cats.
That's what I'm saying. The water drinking. So yeah. So there's a Twitch streamer. She's a famous Twitch streamer. And
No,
these.
she's an Instagram guy, famous Twitch streamer, drank the water.
Oh.
So he did it
Oh.
on his thing to get views.
Ew.
Wait a minute, a famous Instagram guy.
A famous Instagram girl.
Girl.
Sold her used bathwater
Yeah.
on the internet
To Johnny now.
to Johnny Now. Johnny
Johnny
Now got
Now.
on a camera and drank the bathwater.
That's
And there was rumors going
disgusting.
around of things being transmitted, but I heard that was debunked. But I say you get what you get. You don't get upset.
Yeah, if you're willing to do that.
Yeah, if you're really
Spent over $100 on just shipping.
wow, that was some fragile.
So was it
fragile-
like a
I'm assuming.
publicity thing?
Yeah, I'm
Because I
assuming.
feel like if it was a publicity thing, you could have just drank like regular tap water.
Or maybe it was just like an erotic thing that he just needed to get off of his chest. He was like, I need to sip some of this
I understand being sexually attracted to someone.
in their
That-
water.
That's saying a weird form of it though.
It's like kissing the. I want to kiss the earth that you walk on. Like, I want to drink the water you bathe in.
yeah, I mean, I understand like theoretically she was naked in that water, but still, it's like
I would hope so.
that's.
I don't know. The idea of
Remember, though, you said like a while back, apparently he had an unhealthy addiction to sugar, so he locked himself in a cage for 30 days. Put the cage around his desk.
this guy seems very mentally.
There's something
stable.
Yeah, there's something going on there that.
I think he's inebriated quite often.
Well, speaking of inebriation, John, funny you should bring that up.
Look who's reining it in.
Bring
He
it
is.
back.
He's reeling us all in.
You pick it up.
That's
while
our
I'm putting it
topic today, is inebriation. I picked that one especially for you, John.
down. Whoa! I feel, attacked.
No, it's not an attack. It's just like, well, because we were thinking of, we of course wanted to have you on the show for some time now, and we haven't been in contact, you and I, because
No.
I've been away in Cape May.
Yeah. I've just been listening to Lionel Richie and thinking about you.
Thinking about me so much that you showed up right on time this morning.
Exactly.
Anyway, I thought, you like to party, you like to have a good time, and I feel like most of the times I've seen you outside of work, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the good times we've had.
All right.
So I guess we'll start off. I guess I'm assuming what was the first substance we all used? I'm assuming it's alcohol. Is that
Alcohol.
The first
alcohol?
substance we all use.
So I'm not talking about maybe your first sip of beer, but what's the first time you ever remember being drunk?
Wait, but I thought we were talking about first substance. What if it's not drinking?
Oh, if it's not drinking, then hit me with it.
No, it's definitely drinking.
That's what I thought. That's why I did all that
I
preamble.
don't know. I don't know. You go first.
All right,
I need to-
probably one of your parties.
Uh-oh.
Whose parties?
Classic.
Yours.
Me? We're not supposed to talk about that.
We're not.
Classic.
No, we can't. It's fine.
Classic Big Brother throwing a party.
Well, it was, what? I was probably like 14, 15.
I guess.
I got real drunk. I got real upset because I thought Mom was going to find out.
That was always part of it.
So
And
you pulled a
eventually
knife
she
on
did find out in a really bad
We were
way.
taken into custody.
Oh my God.
The greatest crime Shrewsbury
Shrewsbury
has
police.
ever seen.
They still
Because,
talked about it years and years after.
Yeah,
police?
so that was when
Yeah.
we were teenagers, right? And then how old were you when you were riding your bike to work? Right? Is that what happened?
I was in my 20s.
So let's say Sean was
Early
15, let's say
20s.
Sean was 15
Okay.
when the party. So we got a party,
Yes.
got busted up by the cops. We didn't get arrested, but we got taken into custody.
Okay.
That happened when Sean was like 15. Then Sean's riding his bike to work in his 20s.
Mhm.
Gets pulled over by a cop
Riding you on a bike. You got pulled over.
I was pulled over on a bike multiple times, I will say. Also.
because Shrewsbury cops have nothing else.
They have
to do.
nothing to do.
So they pull you over and be like, "What's up? What are you doing?"
I remember too. They would say to me, "There's been a lot of burglaries in the area. You know anything about that?" I'm like, no.
You say you're burglarizing houses in
Meanwhile,
broad daylight on a bike.
I'm wearing my Dean's Natural Food Market shirt and hat, and he's like, "Where are you going?" I just point to my hat. Where do you think I'm going, man? So anyway, regardless, I gave him my ID. He's checking it. Oh, he's like, "Oh, you're the house. You lived in that house. There was that night at the party."
So this was maybe 8 years after.
Wow.
And they're still talking about it,
Jesus
as if it's the
Christ.
crime of the century.
I thought he was gonna look at your ID and be like, "You're the Hamburglar."
I'm not the Hamburglar.
That's crazy though. That means you guys are like
We're infamous.
Infamous.
infamous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say more famous. Like these guys are probably those kids knew how to fucking throw down. I think cops probably laughed that shit off pretty easy afterwards. They're probably like, "Yo, those kids were fucking crazy."
Well, I remember this one cop. I don't know if he had a high rank or something like that, but he was
Level 3
mean,
cop.
crazy mean to me, super duper mean, and called me. I remember he called up my dad. Mom was away, obviously, and he called up my dad, and he told him that I'm quoting the cop, I had fingernail polish on, I looked like a piece of shit, is what he said to my father.
Jesus.
I had a patch of a guy throwing out a swastika in a trash can, and it said, "Keep your country nice and clean." So he's
Yeah.
throwing the swastika away.
Yeah.
And he told my dad I was a Nazi. He's got swastikas all over him, and he's like, so yeah, I don't think that guy laughed it off. I think he was, I don't know what was up with him.
He was a cranky-puss.
Yeah,
Real
definitely.
crankpuss.
So that's the first time you ever remember being drunk?
One of the first times, yeah.
Yeah. How'd it go? You were paranoid.
I was real paranoid. Actually, no. I think that might have been No, that was the time. The first time though, I did get drunk. The second time when we actually got caught,
Yeah.
I wasn't drinking that night.
I wasn't drinking either. I didn't really drink at those parties. We had 4 of them. I want to say 4, and the 4th one got busted up. And there were always
Rangers.
pressure from my friends
to have one.
Yeah, I never was really.
It was
into
never
it.
genuine.
I was never much of a drinker, even in my teen years, even in my 20s. I really am not much of a drinker. To this day, like I don't really drink any. I had a pina colada in Cape May.
There you go. That's living your best life.
But I'm really not a drinker. So those parties were always like my friends saying like, "Hey, let's do a party at your house."
I feel like that would be so, like, if I wasn't shit faced, I'd be like having a panic attack.
Oh yeah,
about all these
I
drunk
was
people.
every time I was, and like with good reason, because
Yeah.
you know it the worst wound up.
Especially when
happening.
you're fucking blasting some Fred Durst, fucking Limp Bizkit. You just want to break stuff.
We always were. I feel like it was always Green Day. Like Green
Yeah.
Day was really the band
See,
that all my friends liked in high school.
Green Day is cool and all.
They're no Limp Bizkit.
They're no Limp Bizkit.
No Limp Bizkit.
I liked Limp Bizkit.
They're not gonna make your ass raw with a chainsaw or whatever. or whatever.
I said a chainsaw, I skin your
What?
ass raw.
What?
And
So
I
Johnny,
break
what is-
your freaking face tonight. Hey, don't interrupt me. Break
Oh.
your freaking face tonight. No. Anyway,
Say it.
can we change the topic to be Limp Bizkit?
We can.
I don't know if I know enough about Limp Bizkit. I feel like I would be very not
okay, everyone.
well-versed
What's the
in this.
name of Limp Bizkit's first album?
Chocolate Starfish Hot Dog
No,
Waterman.
that's their third album. You
God
suck.
damn it.
What did you say? Hot Dog Waterman?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not even the name of it. It's called Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. That's their third album. Their
Hot
second
dog.
album is called Significant Other. Their first album is called $3 Bill, y'all, featuring the single Counterfeit.
Oh, I don't know that.
So Significant
they,
Other
like, were
had
they-
Significant Other had Nookie and Break Stuff.
Oh yeah.
Chocolate Starfish
Stick it
had
up Stick it up. your-
Rollin', right?
Rollin'. Oh.
Rollin'.
Yeah, you guys like, now you know I be loving this shit right here. IMP, Biscuit is right here. Something like that. That guy he's a fucking like crazy lyricist, bro.
Well, he's working on a sick film. I can't wait to see that.
Do you think, a serious question, serious question. Do you think the movie is gonna have rap rock in it
No.
as like the soundtrack?
No, I don't think so.
Bro, that would make it so much better.
Because I think he fancies himself like a real filmmaker. This
Oh,
isn't his first movie.
Like he's gonna show up to the premiere like wearing like a powdered face and like a wig, and he's gonna be like very
Like
Vogue
George
and,
Washington?
Like, yeah. No, but he's gonna be like, this no what directors actually look at.
Is this your idea? For the
I
premiere?
imagine every director lives in colonial Britain. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's gonna show up like a prissy, fancy person, and then like they're gonna be like, yo, what's his name?
Fred Durst.
Durst. What up, yo? And he's just like, he
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
puts his hand out. You
Like
know,
how
like
that
You have to
tank
kiss his
says,
hand.
that
Yeah.
tank over there says Fred D.
Fred D.
Yeah, stand up.
Fuck yeah.
I always want to go over there at night and print Durst, like with paint.
Do you still think he wears the same red hat?
I don't know. I feel like the hat was always to cover up like a thinning hair thing, so probably, right?
That's
Because
fair.
it's not going to get
Okay, yeah,
any
we
less.
probably shouldn't poke at his insecurities. That would be pretty.
His
like, not
first
nice.
movie, I know he's done at least one
Wait, he
movie.
made other movies?
Well, at least
I
one other
figured this was
movie.
his
I think it was
debut.
called The Education of Charlie Banks.
Banks.
And it was starring Jesse Eisenberg, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't his first rodeo.
Jesse
But I think he
Eisenberg
realized
and
maybe
Fred
like no one cares about the music I do anymore, so I got to try to
Yeah.
do something else. I don't know. I never saw that Charlie Banks movie. I don't know anything about it.
I heard it was okay.
And I was going to give the benefit of the doubt
Wait,
to
what was it called again?
the
Something Bank? What was it?
The Education of Charlie Banks.
Agent Charlie Banks.
Agent Charlie Banks. Agent
Agent
Cody
Charlie
Banks.
Agent Charlie Banks.
Cody
By
Banks
Fred
is
Durst.
Frankie.
Frankie Muniz,
yeah.
everyone's favorite little boy. I feel like he's like probably what 30 something now, but I still imagine he's
Oh
a
yeah,
little boy.
he's not a little boy anymore.
But come on. I feel like
he's
people
got
still
a-
pinch his cheeks and go,
Have you seen
"Hey,
him?
Frankie."
at
No,
all?
I don't know.
haven't
Has anyone seen
him.
Frankie Muniz? I don't think so.
Where are you, Frankie? Oh, I would love to
Frankie.
get Frankie.
Yo,
on the
on the
show.
show,
hashtag
please.
find Frankie Muniz.
Yo, you know who I want to get on the show?
That little fucker?
Boom. He's from New Jersey.
I know he
He's
is.
from Ocean County. I know he
he
is.
is.
Come on, Gaten Maserati. We want you.
Maserati. Yeah, I feel like he's probably pretty cool.
He seems cool.
Yeah,
You
seems
know
like
who
a
I
good
don't like
show.
that one? You know, I'm not gonna get into it. I don't want to start beefing with famous people.
You
I
can
don't-
tell me. Who don't you like?
I don't really like that Finn kid, right?
He's
What's-
a little.
The one, what's his name? What is his name in the show?
Wolfhard. Mike.
Yeah, he plays Mike.
You don't like Mike or you don't like Finn?
I don't like Finn. Mike is
What's
also.
wrong with Finn?
Mike also has become weird.
Mike is a little. In season 3, he was like a little. Well, he's like a teenager.
Yeah,
He's like an
I feel like we're
18.
watching him go through like those awkward.
Yeah,
weird,
and
yeah.
I think people had problems with him being disrespectful to Hopper, which I get because he was disrespectful. But you remember, he's still mad at Hopper from last season, right? Because
Yeah.
Hopper hit 11 away for a year.
For a year.
So, yeah, but you don't like Finn? Why not?
So he was in a music video, a band called Pup, a Canadian punk band.
Right.
He was in like one of their music videos. I forget what song it was, and that was like before Stranger Things, you know.
Oh, so he was like a little.
Yeah, he was like a little boy, little lad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a cool music video now. And but they got really close from making that video, and like even after he blew up on Stranger Things, like he would like hang out with them, and like he loved their music. Was always like he learned how to play guitar like after Stranger Things came out, and he was like always like playing covers of their songs and like posting on Twitter, and they were awful. But like millions of people are like retweeting it, and they're like, "Fuck yeah, this kid's sick," and I'm just like, you know. I get it that he's a young boy and he's, you know, learning just as all of us did or the different things we've done. But God, I just hate that like these people, they get so much attention for doing things, other things, just because they're good at like acting or doing it. So it's just like, oh, we have to care about their music. I think that kid's another one. He has like a band or something.
He does. He's played at the Pony before.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're awful.
Well, it's funny how because I remember.
I'm sure they're terrible, but people go to it. I'm sure.
I remember that happened though when they came to the Stone Pony, which is like
It probably sold the fuck out.
it did.
Yeah.
And it's like same way you're because it's like you guys don't know his music. You don't know what's
Hey,
going to
there's no
happen.
offense
there.
to him.
You just literally want to see him
Yeah,
standing in front of you.
And he's
what-
trying to play you fucking Hanson songs. I
Well,
imagine
mean,
that's what he would
he's
play.
like a classically. He's a singer, right? Because he sang in season
Oh,
3.
yeah, he was on Broadway, right? Or some sort? Or
Was he?
I think that one was.
I know Lucas was.
Oh, maybe it was
he was in The Lion King. Yeah.
Dope.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, but that happens a lot though at the Pony too, because like David Duchovny's
I was
band
just
will
gonna
play,
say David Duchovny.
Kiefer Sutherland's band. So it's like you're not sitting there listening to
No, everyone
Kiefer
goes to
Sutherland
see.
CDs.
No, and everyone goes to see David Duchovny because they think they might have a chance to fuck him because they're like, oh, this guy is so crazy and addicted to sex that I might actually have
Is
a
that
chance.
what you think
To
is
be
gonna
fair,
happen?
I think it is a possibility.
It is definitely a possibility. That
You
guy
get banged by David
probably slays.
But Kiefer Sutherland though, like,
That guy is a.
are you sitting and you?
What a bad name, by the way.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Oof.
Kiefer.
His name is a thick yogurty drink. That's not a good that's not a good name to have.
Yeah, it's
No
true.
offense to any of the
fucked up
Kiefers
on
out there.
That one time.
You're really alienating our Kiefer audience.
Is his dad? Wait, his dad's name
Donald Sutherland.
Oh
too.
yeah, he's also an actor, right?
Yeah, he was in
Ah,
Animal House,
other
and
thing I
he was
hate.
in the
Great prominent.
movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I love that movie.
I don't know if I've
Great
seen the
movie.
movie. Was there a TV show?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
TV show came after the movie, which I
Oh, wait,
never.
what's
got
his name?
into.
TV show was also
Didn't
good.
Joss Whedon do the movie / probably the TV show? I think he
did
wrote.
Yeah, he created both
Yeah.
of them, right?
It's so interesting
do the
that
movie
he
I know he
creates-
wasn't a big fan of the movie.
He always creates.
I think
all
he
these-
wrote it, but he didn't like the
Yeah,
actors. In it.
I know he did the TV show though, and the
Yeah.
comics.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He always writes these characters, these like strong female,
No, he
strong
didn't write the
female
movie.
characters.
No, he didn't write the movie.
No.
It was based on his thing, though,
I
right?
think it was like a.
Because I know he was dissatisfied. He didn't like and he
Yeah.
really didn't like Donald Sutherland in that movie. But
It's always tough.
you know who's in that movie?
But
The late great Luke Perry.
Harry.
Luke Perry is like the male lead in that movie.
Oh, yeah, he's
also, he is dead. He died recently.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was his last movie.
oh shit, yeah, he was in that movie.
He was like in the western they were filming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was his last film. But you know who else is in Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Paul Rubens,
Paul Rubens.
playing a very non-Pee-wee character.
Yeah. Does he
So-
play something very dark?
He plays a vampire. Yeah, he's like the head
Dude.
vampire.
I don't know. I feel like Pee Wee Herman's like the vampire that was dropped on his head and then like goes out and lives in the normal world. I think that's just what Pee Wee Herman
It is like, what is Pee-wee's deal ultimately?
I
Like,
don't
how would you
know.
describe Pee-wee?
I think there's a
Herman?
lot of things you could like try to dive into the psychology of Pee Wee Herman. I think
He's
there's
like
a lot
a-
of weird shit. You
He's
could
like a
unravel.
grown up who's a kid who acts like a kid, and he's an albino also. Like, I love Pee Wee Herman. By the way,
Oh, yeah.
I love Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, that I don't know what it, but like why? Like I know I love it too, but then every time I catch myself like watching, you know, like episodes of like Pee Wee's Playhouse, was
yeah,
it?
yeah.
And I'm like, this shit is like
It's very strange.
amazing.
Oh, it's great. Oh yeah.
Like I am so enthralled in it, and then I'm like, I feel gross afterwards. I feel like I did something wrong.
Is it because of his personal
It's
life?
not because he decided to masturbate in a movie theater. I think that that's like, you know,
That was just a bad night.
I think everyone's, you know.
Do you ever really decide to masturbate in a movie theater?
You have to
though?
make a decision
You're
at
just
some
kinda
point.
Going,
No, I feel like
he
that's
was just
something.
going with the flow, man.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just something that you don't even realize. You're like, oh, that's the thing that's
Oh.
happening. I
Oh,
don't
hey,
think
oh,
it's premeditated. He's like, oh, whose hand was that? Oh my god.
Because I don't think he. Do you think he really like went into that movie
It was
theater? He's like,
premeditated?
I'm about to
Fucking
get
jerk
in there
off
and
in
I'm
this
gonna
movie
whack
theater.
it hard.
I feel like what you gotta do is just like take care of yourself beforehand, right? 'Cause
Well,
then,
yeah.
like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
he had to just be like a, like he grasped the seat next to him. He's like, I gotta fucking jerk off. Or like, what was he watching? Was it? It was an
I
erotic.
think it was an X-rated.
It was an erotic film.
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. No. Maybe he did go premeditated
Really,
jerk off.
you
mode.
have to go to the movie theater for that. You used to have to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
we never did, but
Well, there's still like places like that sell
Why
you know
would
like
you do-
toys and like fun stuff for your butt and stuff.
Well, sure.
But
fun
and then
stuff
they
for
have
your
a booth.
butt, yeah.
And then they have a
That's
Oh,
a
booth.
booth, though.
booth.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a personal.
But then there's like a booth where there's a they I guess they give you a movie, probably a nice warm moist towel. Maybe I don't know.
they give you a chocolate milk.
There's like a bunch of mints afterwards. But
It just seems like that's from a bygone era. Now that
Oh,
you can,
yeah.
now that you can access
that's like
anything
people
from
who
the
pay
comfort of
for
your
it,
own
you
home.
know. Like
Yeah.
I think my grandfather made a joke the other day about like Skinamax or something, and I was like,
Right.
I don't think that exists. So I went on my TV, and I don't remember if it was Skinamax, but there was still naughty channels,
Oh
and I
yeah.
was like,
I think there's some people like the old guard. They're
they're
setting
like,
their
you will
ways.
not get rid of my fucking Skinamax. I pay $5.99 to jerk off to some high quality porno on my TV. And you cannot take that from me. It's the same thing as like the pro gun people who are like, you won't take my guns.
Bless their heart.
Same
Well, also
thing.
I think there's a lot of crossover between the two
Sure,
groups.
sure. Yeah. They're holding a gun in one hand, the other hand
And
as
it's
well.
their Skinamax subscription. Don't tread on me.
Make sure you got that safety on.
Yeah.
Classic. All
Yeah.
right, John. When was the first time you remember?
Oh
being
yeah,
drunk?
back to vegan.
This is good though. I like this.
Yeah. Nice.
The first time ever, or just like
well, let's say
an
one of
interesting
the first time that
The first time I ever got drunk, I was watching a West Virginia college basketball game with my good old friend Brett.
age-old tale.
An age-old tale of two boys watching some other boys play basketball. And we stole, I mean, classic juvenile drunk move, just like stole his mom's vodka or some shit. And we were just like, like, this woman, you know, she'll never know. We just put water in it. Just so stupid. And we did it. So we got drunk. And I remember the two of us, our other friends, were like, yo, you guys want to hang out? And we're like, whoa, we're drunk. And our friends that aren't drunk want to hang out with us. Let's go do that. So we just showed up, shit-faced. And our friends were like, what is wrong with you guys? So we were like hanging out, you know, playing catch, classic kid shit. And I remember my friend was like, yo, I want to kick that ball as far as I could. The shit-faced one, the other drunk one. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I basically like Charlie Browned them.
You did, oh,
Like,
you took
and
away
he
the.
was so drunk that he literally went Charlie Brown, flipped on his back, and was like prone like a turtle. And yeah, that was the first time I ever got drunk. Not that exciting, but the best time, one of the best times I've ever gotten drunk was when I was still very young, probably 15 or 16. I'll probably give some backstory to this. So I used to go to this theme park called Knoebels.
Where's that?
It is in Pennsylvania,
Nice.
you know, the great state of Pennsylvania, somewhere. And so it's kind of like Six Flags, but you don't have to pay to get in. Everything's by tickets, so it's a little old school. All the roller coasters are wooden. There's no like really crazy stuff. It's very
Nice.
old school. There's like awesome like Danish food everywhere. It's like the most Pennsylvania thing you could imagine without Amish people, and it's dope. So my family would go there, we'd camp there every year. And for some reason, I guess I loved being the center of attention, which is so weird because I feel like that's not true. But then I think it is also true sometimes. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to bring this cow costume that I found that my mom, I guess, wore at some point in her life. And I'm going to wear it, and I'm just going to walk around the amusement park.
Sure.
So I walked around the campsite, and this would be like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and I would just be walking around mooing. You know, I would stand in the middle of the road
How
and
old
wait
were
for
you?
the bus to come, and then like have to stop because I'm pretending to eat grass in the middle of the road.
Sure.
I was like 14 and 15,
Okay.
maybe 16.
This all checks
But yeah,
out.
so then
'Cause
I
if
got-
it was last week,
No.
it would still kind of check
It would
out.
still
Like,
check out.
Yeah, of
would still
course.
make sense.
So that's the backstory to the cowman.
Sure.
All right, so that was the thing that would happen, and then we came back a few years later, and I still would always bring the costume. And we were like, let's go on this roller coaster. And you know how like on certain rides they take a picture of you?
Sure.
I was like,
yeah.
they're not gonna let me go on if I'm wearing. Oh, Oh, then I bought this chicken mask. So I was wearing a chicken mask while wearing a cow costume. I upgraded the costume this year, and
Like
I was
a
like,
weird hybrid?
I was like, if I wear this, they're not gonna let me on the ride. If
Yeah.
I'm wearing like this chicken mask and this cow suit, so I was like, I'm gonna stuff this whole costume in my pants. Drunk John was like, I'm gonna stick the whole costume in my pants. So I had this giant bulge just coming from my. That looked so unnatural, but who's gonna know? Who's gonna try and point at your weird bulge? It's just not appropriate. So we get onto the ride. I tried to close the thing on my lap, but my fupa is so big from the costume. But I got it in just enough, so it was super loose. Like once the costume came out, like there was gonna be like this much space between me and the bar, so I could go fucking flying out of this thing. But I was like, I'm doing it. So the ride starts, and I start putting it on as the ride starts. It starts like a Sunday. And then there's a tunnel, there's a picture, and then a tunnel, and then you're in the like the lobby or whatever.
Sure.
So we go up. By the time we get to the top, I'm in costume. We go down, pictures taken. I take it all off and shove it down back into my pants before we get out of the tunnel. That's like 10 seconds. It was like the most Inspector Gadget, Master of Disguise thing that I've ever done in my life.
You are quite literally the master of
I
disguise.
think I'm a disguisey.
You're a disguisey.
I am a disguisey.
Johnny Disguisey.
Become
Johnny
another
Disguisey.
person. Become another person. So yeah, I did that. So I think like when I'm drunk, I get superpowers. I think is basically how.
How did the
that story
picture?
goes.
You don't have the picture, do you?
Actually, that was why I was really on my phone before, because I was trying to go on my Facebook and see, because it was the only time I've ever bought the photo, because I never anytime I go to a place and they're like, oh, let's take a picture of you, and like, here's your number. I'm like, I'm not, I can just take a picture with my phone.
Yeah.
But that's a moment that I could not capture. That would have been risky if I was like, selfie, take it all off without losing my phone on a roller coaster. But
So
yeah,
you do
I
have the
purchased the
picture.
photo, I lost it. There's a photo of the photo somewhere.
Okay, so you gotta find it.
Yeah,
and
you
then
I'm
gotta
gonna
we
dig
can-
it,
gotta-
and then
we're
we'll
gonna
post
put
it
it-
on.
Put it right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
We'll throw it on the
I do.
Gusto
I notice
Twitter or
I do this
something.
sometimes, and there's not a photo here. We're gonna.
Yeah, that's done on purpose.
Is it?
Because sometimes we don't have the photos.
Right
True.
here. Right
I'm
here.
gonna text my friend that was on the ride with me if he has a photo of me.
Nice.
If
That's
the photo doesn't exist, I'm just gonna put a picture that says the photo doesn't exist.
there we
That's
go.
fair.
Or take a picture of you and just kind of like really draw out.
That would be good too.
So, did you say your first one,
My first.
or like your most entertaining of ones?
The first one's not gonna be. I think I was with my sister, and we were at her like goth friend Paul's house.
Nice.
His name was Paul, but we're supposed to call him Azrael.
Oh
I
yes.
forgot about that.
Like the
Yeah.
fallen dark angel.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And he like had like a fucking vampire.
You're really,
Shit, I don't
really close to the truth on that one.
There's nothing wrong with any of this, by the way.
Oh, he was a dick, so we can disrespect him.
Okay.
But I think I
Fuck
don't
that
know. I
guy.
just remember having. I think I had maybe like 3 beers, which isn't that much, but at the time, I never had a beer before, and I
Yeah.
remember being really excited about it and having a good time. So that was it. That's
Yeah,
not that
I
exciting.
mean that's good. No, it's not exciting, but hey, it's a positive. It was a positive
Yeah,
interaction.
I feel like I don't have a lot of that many interesting stories about me being under the influence because I'm just not a drinker very much.
Yeah.
The one time that does stick out is I think it was sometime in the winter, and I was I don't know what happened. I was just like maybe I was newly 21, and I think I didn't go super hard, but I drank enough that I made one night I remember drinking and throwing up all the next day, and I thought, okay, I don't like the taste of alcohol. I don't like to buy alcohol. You got to spend money on it.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, I tend to feel sick and queasy. And the next morning, I always have like a hangover. So I thought, okay, and this is a decision I made at, let's say, 21.
Yeah.
I don't think drinking's for me, which
Yeah.
I think is a pretty mature thing to decide when you're
For sure.
21. But I remember this one night we were here at the Sycamore Lounge,
That's a similar one.
and I was drinking Mad Dog 2020,
Nice.
which is like I think it was like a
That is some
strawberry banana,
Trashy shit.
which is, and at the time it just doesn't. It just tastes like you're drinking like juice.
Were you
like,
listening
like,
to like fucking Cypress Hill and just like trashing out with your trash friends or something like that?
I know I had a lot of nice group of people here. I remember it was when I worked, or I had just left the video store. I used to work at Hollywood Video.
Oh,
So
classic.
I think my friends
Classic Hollywood videos.
Cheryl,
Love that place.
Cheryl, Dave, and Rich were here, as I recall.
Okay.
And I remember just going and feeling invincible. Because there's a certain point when you're drunk where you just feel like I am on top of the world.
I am the law.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
exactly.
said. You feel like it gave me a superpower of
Yeah,
disguise,
right?
and
So-
it gave you the power of
Yeah,
invincibility.
I just felt like I am. I don't know. That's kind of a dangerous place to be, though, right? Where you feel
Yeah.
like no harm can befall you.
Yeah.
So I remember being out. It was freezing out, and I remember being out here in like a t-shirt,
Mhm.
and my friend Rich
Just
going,
feeling good.
"You're gonna throw up later." And I said, "Come on, what are you fucking?" So then later on, we were on the couch, and I think I was drinking several different things. So
That's the best.
Mad Dog, I remember. I also remember doing shots of Jägermeister.
Oof. Yeah.
I feel like beer might have been involved
Shane
too.
loves Jägermeister.
It
shit.
goes
This is
down
hurting me just
so
hearing it.
easy is the thing. Like it's just like
Some
boom.
White Russians on top. You know, all the most easy on the stomach.
Yeah, I think
of
I was just
beverages.
drinking whatever, and
Yeah.
it didn't matter. And then I remember just sitting on the couch and just like, and it just threw up like that. And then they took me upstairs, and I was in my underwear, and I was in my room, and everyone kept trying to come in and say goodbye. And my friend Dave tells it like they closed the door, and he saw vomit like
Oozing
dripping from underneath.
Like it was like a corny
Yeah.
horror movie.
And yeah, exactly. And I remember this is going to be really gross, and I apologize for this
I have
detail,
something way gross.
but
so
I remember the vomit being like red and looking
Yes.
like spaghetti sauce.
Yes.
And it was just, and so it's
probably from
seeping
the
out.
red Mad Dog you drank.
Yeah, and then, so then I went to bed, and I remember this is disgusting what I'm about to say, but I remember, I remember waking up at like 4 a.m. just being like, oh no, like this
Yeah.
is not good. Turning my head,
Into it.
so I was like lying down, sleepily. I think everyone had cleaned up the vomit in my room. I think everything was
Aw,
okay.
what a bunch
But
of
I
good
was,
friends.
but I was, yeah. My sister was there too, and yeah, it was.
Shout out to Michelle for
Michelle,
always
thank
helping
you.
us.
It
when we're
was-
super inebriated.
So I remember waking up about 4 a.m. Waking up, being like, "Oh no!" Turning my head, throwing up, and
Jesus.
just going right back to sleep.
Yeah.
So I just slept near like this nice puddle of vomit.
That'll happen.
And I think I woke up the next morning and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why did
That's
this
like a real wake
happen?"
up call, you know.
Yeah, but it's not like I was doing that every night or even every month.
Yeah.
It's just like every now and then. And my friends too, my friend Rich especially, like he liked to drink. He was, but he was like, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was like
He
a
was a
professional
pro.
type of dude. But I didn't, and so it's not like that was that would happen
Yeah.
every week or anything like that. It was just one really rough. Like I could probably think of all the times I was drunk in my head right now. So
Yeah.
it has not been many times.
For sure.
But that was a real moment of like, maybe drinking is not for you.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't. Yeah.
I feel like every time I get really sick, which is not often, but you know, it does happen for the best of us. But every time I say, I am never drinking again. Like, head in the toilet, throwing up, I'm not drinking again. But it's because it's like an abusive relationship. I feel like the only reason that you really like would enjoy getting drunk is because you just love. I feel like there's some masochistic things behind it. Like, you know that it's gonna hurt you,
Yeah.
yet you still do it.
But I feel like there's this social aspect to it though, where like everybody
good part.
wants to
Well,
have a drink, and then so at that moment, you're just like, oh, I just want to have a drink
Yeah, I
with my
want to be
friends.
with, crack a cold one with the boys.
Exactly, but then your judgment gets more and more cloudy as
Yeah.
that goes on, right?
And you're
So-
like, yeah.
so I don't
Mostly,
know.
I think it's about if you are going to drink, it's mostly about staying in control
Yeah.
and making sure you're in control of your
Moderation.
actions and what you're doing.
Exactly. So what
Make
was
sure
this?
you know your limits.
What was the story that's grosser
Oh, I
than
have
my
two-
puke story?
I have two.
Then we're getting to you, Sean. Don't think we've forgotten about you.
That might be the picture. I have two stories. Okay, he's gonna find it. I have two stories.
Track down
One,
the photo.
it was actually about this friend, my friend Danny. We went to a Devils game, and we came home. We were still illegals, and we probably drank a bunch of vodka or something terrible again. And
Sure.
my friend was like, "Let's go to McDonald's." Oh God, this is actually a lot longer than I thought. Let's go to McDonald's and get some chicken nuggets. He wasn't drunk yet, actually, by this point. He was pre-drinking. Let's go to McDonald's, get some chicken nuggets. We go. There's like a McTenders sign, you know, like the weird like chicken tenders that I don't even know if they still have them, but there was a
I
sign
don't know.
that was like supposed to be on the fence that just fell off, and my friend was like, "You're gonna go pick up that giant McTender sign, and you're gonna stick it in my car." So we stole the sign, and we went back later and gave it back to them because we felt bad, and they said, "Yeah, we saw you take it. Why did you bring it back?" And we were like, "We're just trying to be nice." So I guess in like, you know, I guess after that we were like, well, now we gotta get drunk because that was fucking embarrassing. I don't want to remember that ever again. So he eats like 40 chicken nuggets or something.
40?
Yeah, a ridiculous amount. This guy's he's crazy. He only eats chicken nuggets. This guy's crazy. I don't know. So he eats like 40 chicken nuggets, drinks a bunch of booze, whatever, falls asleep. He's sleeping on my friend's couch. We were probably watching like South Park or some stupid shit. He's sitting on my friend's couch like straight, and I just hear him start throwing up, and he almost like Jimi Hendrixed himself. He was like laying straight back, throwing up. Is just coming out of his mouth as he's like sitting like this. And he starts choking on it.
Yeah.
So I wake him up and I'm like, dude, you just threw up everywhere. You gotta clean it up. And he's like, what? And he just starts like moving it with his hands.
Oh.
He's like, what is this? And then he like tries to keep falling back asleep. And I'm like, no, you need to clean this up. My friend comes on and was like, dude, the kid almost died. Like, and he's like, well, clean it up. And my friend was just like, I could have died. And he's just making a big fucking scene because he heard me say that he almost died. So yeah, I saved my friend's life. I'm a fucking hero. Like I said, every time I get drunk, I get superpowers. And now we get to hear about my other superpower. This is a way quicker one.
Did he wind up cleaning that up, by the way?
He did clean it up.
Oh, okay.
Or I cleaned it up.
Well,
I think I probably cleaned it up.
you actually did save your friend's
I
life.
saved my friend's life. I
Yeah.
did indeed.
Another round of applause.
You seem to want to get
You're
another
fucking
round of
welcome,
applause.
Yeah, so then the other one was pretty recently, and just to get right to the point. Long night of drinking. Next morning, gotta take a shit. Wake up, stomach's feeling weird, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna like throw up.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not feeling good. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. I go in, I take my squatty potty,
Sure.
get in a nice, good, healthy position to not get any hemorrhoids, and I release, the demons, my inner demons. I let them all out. It smells absolutely fucking awful, to the point where I smell my own shit and throw up in the toilet between my legs. Which was probably the most impressive thing I've ever done. The fact that I didn't get it anywhere on me, was able to just like throw up perfectly while I was shitting.
It's a 2-for-1 special.
It was a 2-for-1. It was funny because I ate a bunch of hot dogs the night before, and it was the first time I've ever pooped, and it smelled exactly like what I ate.
Oh,
Like, could you ever imagine like someone farting and being like, bro, did you eat hot dogs?
Did you ever see the movie Biodome?
No. Is that with Pauly Shore?
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin.
Stephen Baldwin. The
There's,
better Baldwin?
No, Stephen is the worst Baldwin.
Me and my friend got in an actual heated argument. He thinks that Stephen Baldwin is the better Baldwin.
He's the worst Baldwin.
I agree.
definitive.
wrong with this dude?
There's a scene. I hate talking about this type of stuff. I do. But there's a scene where they're telling each other what they ate based on that.
Based on the smells of their farts?
Yes.
Wow.
It's,
I need to watch this
He
fucking
wouldn't
movie.
even say it. James wouldn't even say
Jay,
farts.
I know. I'm sorry I brought all this poopy butthole talk on your
I've
show.
heard you tell that last
Oh, I
night
know.
before. I remember.
Because
every time I walk into our commons room,
Our commons room, yeah.
Well,
A
John's
common
always like-
place we both inhabit.
every time.
Every time I'm talking about
Every
shit
time
and
I
balls.
walk in and John's like, I took a shit.
I know,
I
but-
did it.
Wow, he's making me seem to be like, it's way more layered than that. There's some,
Would you
it's
say
much
it's
more
nuanced?
nuanced. Yeah. there's
No,
a nice-
well, every time I walk in, and this is the joke.
my shit jokes are like a
uh,
nice crack of fresh black pepper on your nice Italian dinner or something like that. It's not this heat barbarian act of like John shit. Like,
Well, it's
slam
not,
my
but
fist
I
on
would
the
say it's
counter.
not. It's
Shit
not.
good.
It's not always you, but it's always someone. And I
Yeah.
feel like I'm back there eating, I don't know, my bowl of quinoa, and someone just runs back there, and they're just like, I just shit on my dick. And it's like,
You can say you're
throw
a
the
shit
spoon
magnet.
down, just. Every time.
An episode of Rick and
Every
Morty.
time.
It is. Also, my favorite James moment ever. Sorry, Sean. I feel like you're supposed to talk now.
It's fine.
But my favorite James, it relates to poopy buttholes, is
course it
when
does.
James was trying to talk about a band,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and he wouldn't say the name of them, and I was like, well, this has to be like the worst band name ever. Like, this is like some like weird like skinhead neo-Nazi punk band that has some super anti-Semitic racist name. And I'm like, dude, just like say it.
Mhm.
Just say it.
I wouldn't.
And he was like, no, I won't say it. He was like, but I'll give you the initials. It's DP. And no, you were like, I won't even give you the initials because even they are inappropriate.
DP, man.
And then you were like, DP. And I was like, DP. Oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's inappropriate. And I like couldn't wrap my mind around what it was. But basically, we played this long dance of, I think it was like a whole ordeal. I think I had other people
was.
involved.
It was
Yeah, I
a-
I'm like,
remember.
it was like driving me
Sophie
fucking
was there.
insane.
Sophie from episode 6. was
Episode
there.
Sophie.
Episode Sophie.
Yeah.
Episode Sophie.
Not the non-episode Sophie.
No, she's not invited.
She's not invited. Fuck you too, Shane.
Band for life.
But yeah, so I
Don't
made
worry,
it.
they won't watch this.
I made
They
it.
will not.
They will not
There's
watch
no
it.
danger of them
And
watching
if they
this.
started it, they wouldn't get to this point.
No,
so.
the thing is, you would say like, oh, they mentioned you, and they wouldn't even watch that because that happened once before. But anyway, sorry, don't mean to. Anyway, yeah, I remember that. Sophie was back in there.
Yeah, so I made this big ordeal, and basically, cut to the chase. We found out the name of the band was a great band.
Very good band. Yeah,
I think they broke up too. Which
They
is,
did,
which is
yeah,
sad.
yeah.
Diarrhea Planet.
yeah.
Ridiculously stupid and like
Such a stupid name for
such
such,
a
a good
stupid
band.
name. But I
though.
think that's what the thing was. They were like, we're gonna make our name so ridiculous that people won't take us seriously, and then they hear our music, and it's actually like you'd expect them to be like, what is it, Adam and his package? You know that
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Where it's like some goofy like, like that's what you'd expect from Diarrhea Planet.
Don't you think though? And this is actually that's how our show was named.
Yeah,
Believe it or not, from that band in a way.
with Diarrhea Planet
Yeah.
or Adam and his package.
Well, because I was talking about in the first episode. All right. I was talking about in the first episode. I'm gonna keep going, so you do your thing. About how we didn't have a name yet, and I
Yes.
said a name can ultimately it doesn't mean that much because you could have the worst band name in the world and still be great,
For sure.
like Diarrhea
Like
Planet.
Diarrhea Planet.
So I think I was talking about that, but it does matter in that, let's say you hear a band name and you
Yeah.
go, oh, I gotta check that band out. They're
Yeah.
called Death from Above 1979, real band.
Yes.
So we're musing on how we can come up with an interesting enough name, and I said Diarrhea Planet. Normally I don't say it, but Sean said, oh, you actually said it, and I said, yeah, I mustered the gusto.
Oh, yes.
I remember that.
Episode 1.
Sode 1.
Episode 1. I watched it.
You did watch it.
I did watch it.
Thank you for
I watched
that.
most of them.
1 is kind of a slog, but it's not Dylan's fault. Dylan
No,
is...
Dylan's great.
Dylan
I mean,
is-
I don't really know Dylan, but every
Aw.
interaction I've had with him, he seems like a
I
pretty
think-
fantastic individual.
Dylan's one of my one
Did
of my best friends.
I don't want to spoil future Gusto projects, but is that ordeal being put on the interwebs?
Job,
Yeah.
what's up with that?
Yeah, what's the ETA, Job? Get your fucking shit together, bro.
Say,
Because honestly, I wasn't drunk. Oh, bring it back to being inebriated. I drank a few beers and I might have partaken in some devil's lettuce. But I was pretty browned out at that point. And when me and Sean went on stage, I don't know what happened. So I'm hoping to piece it together with this next Gusto episode
There is video footage
of me do.
Yeah, so every other
Can we
week.
tease it? What am I doing?
we can.
Not that anyone cares
I
about
don't
what
think
I'm
we
doing.
can today. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
If you know what I'm saying. I don't think we can today.
can't.
But I will say it's worth watching.
It is definitely worth watching.
For sure. I had a really good night. That was very nice.
That was a great night.
The only issue was at the beginning. Dylan, volume levels.
We're messed up.
Yeah, because the guitar is like very, very
Oh.
guitar.
I'm sure it'll still come out great.
It's not the whole of the,
Yeah. Dylan's he's one of the best dudes I
He
know.
played those.
I think you guys would be good friends.
He plays those Warhead songs.
Lemonheads?
Oh, Lemonhead.
You just came up with another candy?
Well, yeah, it was the wrong candy.
Warheads.
I definitely didn't do that on purpose.
Warheads.
I would hate for
There's
some.
so much in this episode that can just be thrown at the beginning.
Oh yeah,
I
we're
shit myself.
we're doing that.
Mad dog.
We're doing that thing now. I don't know
Sorry,
if you
folks.
watch
Too
Joy,
much
but
coffee.
we're pulling like a cold open
Okay.
segment. So if you say something like, "Yeah, I threw up into my own shit," and that'll be just right up front, no context, and then the theme song
That would
starts
probably- That would
playing.
be a good one.
Yeah, I think you've said a lot.
Do you guys think you could kiss your own penis? This is a serious question.
Have you tried?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. But Sean, do you think you could kiss your own penis? Have you ever tried?
No, I've never tried. I don't think so. I used to be more flexible, so maybe back in the day, but as it stands today,
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I have tried at some point,
Did
but
you make
I
it?
don't know. Like the way you said that sounds like you definitely tried.
I don't want to like come out with some like BDE right here. That's some millennial slang I just tossed at
What
you.
is that?
It's BDE. It stands for big dick energy. Because that's not what I'm trying to get at all. I just happen to be a very flexible individual.
So you made it.
I was able to touch it,
Just like the tip.
just the tip. I think that's also kind of millennial slang.
Oh,
Just
that's
the
been
tip.
around for a while.
Yeah?
No,
Just
just
the
tip's been around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
remember
yeah.
it in Wedding Crashers. He said just
Yeah.
the tip.
Oh
I
man,
hate that movie.
you do?
Yeah.
It's not that
Didn't care
bad.
for it. Didn't care.
Well, you know what? I remember at the time I worked at the video store,
Oh,
and there was this
my
big
God.
thing.
Probably everyone wanted to watch it.
Well, it was like, it was a weird rivalry between Wedding Crashers and the
And
40-Year-Old
Starsky and Hutch.
Virgin.
Oh. fuck.
And to me, there's no contest. 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh yeah.
is-
I mean,
is
if we're
like
picking between the
a
two.
freaking classic. And
Yeah.
Wedding Crashers was like fine enough to watch through
Sure.
once. But people were acting like it's one of the finest comedies ever made, and
It's not that good.
no, it's
not that bad. I watched the better movie the other night, and
Tell
it
me.
was Grown Ups 2.
Is it
Had a
good?
nice family night with my cousins and some of my close friends, and we were like, let's all sit down and get comfy, maybe get inebriated and watch a good old movie.
How was
We
it?
settled on, it was between Grown Ups 2 and Machete. Grown Ups 2, Machete, and something else. I forget. We were doing a vote, and because like we couldn't come up on. I was like, all right, these are 3 movies. Let's like pick one. It was split between Machete
Mhm.
and Grown Ups 2, and I was the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And of course, you know me, gotta pick Grown Ups 2. Seen Grown Ups 1 a few times.
Have you ever
actually.
seen Machete?
Never seen Machete.
Oh, Machete's good.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But is it as good as Grown Ups 2?
I've
Have you
never
seen it?
either of the grown-ups
Who
films.
directed Machete?
Robert Rodriguez.
It was Robert
Well,
Rodriguez?
well, Machete was a fake trailer from Grindhouse.
From
Yeah.
Grindhouse, yeah.
Which,
That's right.
in fairness, the trailer is better than the movie.
Yeah.
The movie's good, but it's
Yeah.
just like the vibe they were going for with the trailer was this grimy Grindhouse thing,
Yeah.
and then you watch the movie and it's clearly like it's a big budget
Yeah,
Robert Rodriguez.
it's a very flashy
production.
movie.
And Robert De Niro's in it, which there's nothing wrong with Robert De Niro,
Whoa.
but he wouldn't be in like a little, Grindhouse grimy thing. So it's like Danny Trejo would,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
he's
like
awesome.
fucking Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Another Robert Rodriguez.
I've never seen a Spy Kids. I love
Oh,
Robert
my
Rodriguez, but
Robert
I've never.
Rodriguez is fantastic.
Spy Kids, I feel like it's just not. If I watched it when I was a kid, I'd love it. I
Dude,
feel, as
Spy
a
Kids-
grown up watching Spy Kids, I'd feel weird.
Spy Kids
What's that mean?
slaps, bro.
Oh, it slaps.
Spy Kids fucking slaps.
Ooh.
All right, I'll watch.
Damn,
How many Spy Kids are there?
3.
There's
There's
like
a trilogy.
lot. And what
No,
about
no, no, it's a
Shark
trilogy.
Boy and
Shark
Lava
Boy and
Girl?
Lava Girl are an adjacent, but
Like a-
same.
like
I
a-
think it's same universe. I don't even know if that one's directed by Robert Rodriguez. I do know.
Was he involved in it?
I have no idea, but it's definitely in the same universe, same feel, same look.
Yeah.
But I know Taylor. That was like Taylor Lautner, little young
Oh,
Taylor Lautner.
from Twilight.
Bringing it back, Taylor Lautner plays a frat bro in Grown Ups 2.
Does he?
It is awful.
Those movies don't look good.
No, and David Spade is awful. My friend Danny actually has like this real weird resentment and just fucking hatred
Of David Spade.
of David Spade. Like, there's 2 things that make him mad, and these are going to be the 2 weirdest things. But like, if you want to ever get this kid mad, you put on White Room
Like Cream.
by Cream.
Okay.
Just something in that song triggers him that he gets into a fit of rage. And that guy,
David Spade.
David Spade.
I could see White Room though, because sometimes like hippie stuff like that's annoying. You know what really gets
White
me
Room.
is
Not a bad song.
White Room has good guitar sound, like the way that the guitar sounds so like distorted and crunchy. You know what really bothers me
falsetto
is
is
in,
awful.
like that same sort of era of music
Uh-huh.
is the song Incense and Peppermints. I hate
Ooh, I don't know if I
it.
know
so-
that
Really?
one.
You know Incense and Peppermints? It's
No.
like Incense and Peppermints.
I like that song.
It just reminds me of like if you're doing like a wild, far out trip scene in a
Oh.
movie, you play Incense and Peppermints. And
I feel like these are all just songs that like Tarantino would use in movies.
I don't feel like he would stoop
Nah,
as low
no,
to
that's
use
too-
Incense. It's too obvious.
Yeah, it's
like,
too on the nose. But he
yeah.
just picks some fantastic music, like the soundtrack for this new one.
Yeah. Oh, there was
Mr.
some great stuff on
Hollywood.
there. Was there a Vanilla Fudge's version of "Keep Me Hanging On" during like the big climactic scene?
Yeah, I
That
think
was-
so.
That
yeah.
was awesome.
That
Like
was
that fits so well.
It really did.
That was great. Oh, Brad Pitt at the end when he's like,
Talk about it being inebriated.
"Oh yeah, for real."
Brad Pitt does a bunch of drugs, which is cool. Not to spoil anything. I don't think that's much of a spoiler.
That he does drugs.
That he does
Well,
drugs
he
in the
smokes
movie.
a special cigarette that's been.
He smokes a cigarette that's
dipped
laced
in
with
acid.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know that was a thing.
Acid dip cigarettes.
Thought
Yeah, that was
you
the
get
thing.
acid too hot. Put that-
I mean, I've never done
No,
acid
I-
before. Have you done acid before?
I'd heard it was a thing. I never did acid.
Okay. Have you done acid before?
No, I think my brain would
James
explode.
would not.
I
Oh,
don't think. I think I'd be.
I'm with James.
I'd be living in the basement mumbling.
I could
Yeah.
probably do it.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know Nick Swartzen's character in the Benchwarmers?
I never saw that.
It's the strangest reference I think anyone could ever make.
I never saw the
Are you familiar with the film?
That's
the
John
Rob Schneider,
Lovitz
John
and,
Lovitz.
and Napoleon Dynamite and
Yeah.
John Heater.
John Heater, and Nick Swartzen, right? That's
Swartzen, yeah.
That's the really weird guy who's
He's
also in
a-
Grown Ups too.
He's a comedian. He's actually he's a pretty funny
No,
comedian.
he's a funny guy, but he
Yeah.
always plays weird people. Like he in Reno 911, he always plays the weird. He plays that funny prostitute.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great
With the booty
character.
short. I
Yeah,
love
that
that
is such a
character.
good.
Yeah, wasn't he in that movie like Bucky? What is that name? He was like
Bucky Larson.
he was like a porn star,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was like apparently it has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, like
Oh,
one of the
sure.
worst movies of all time. But anyway,
But so yeah, his character in this movie is just this basement. I don't know. I forget his relation. He might be a brother to someone, but he's just this basement dwelling heathen who just like plays Dungeons and Dragons and probably Magic the Gathering. You know, all the things that I do, but like way less cool. He makes pillow forts and he's like scared of the sun. And I remember there was a scene where he's just eating sunscreen because
Ew.
he doesn't even know what to do with it because he never goes outside. I think he goes to go outside and the sun burns him so bad that his brother's like, I'm assuming it's John here. He's like, dude, put on some sunscreen. Like gives him sunscreen. And he's like, "Mwah," and eats it. And I forget where I was going with that, but
I was just
whatever
wondering
you
why,
were talking about made me think of that guy.
Oh, living in the basement.
Oh,
and
after you did acid, you would
mumbling
turn
kind of
into
stuff.
that
Did acid,
character.
you would
Yeah.
turn
Yeah,
into
no,
that
that
You would
wouldn't-
start chugging sunscreen and
Chugging
jerking
that
off in a
sunscreen.
basement.
Probably,
Dude from SRC
probably.
Punk,
Matthew Lillard?
where he
Oh
was
no,
sitting
the
on-
other guy.
Sitting
Yeah.
on a stool with his knife,
Bob?
with green hair.
Bob.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sean, you have been silent.
Yeah.
Well, because I was hoping he would say he's done some fun drugs, but this kid.
Well, let's see
I've
your
done
most
some fun
eventful
drugs.
time under the influence. Let's talk about that.
most eventful.
Oh, I can tell the. Did I ever tell the story of?
I think you
oh,
did.
of
Did
the
you not?
knife.
I don't
Did
know.
I tell that story? I think I did. Of the
I mean,
time.
you can tell it again if you want to tell it. It was an interesting one.
No,
you
you're
didn't tell on the show.
But I told it already.
Did
didn't
you
I?
on the
Did show? you?
Did I tell it on the show? When would I have told it on the show?
I thought you did.
Well, if Sean tells it, then it's different.
Well, I told the one because I feel like maybe we're thinking about you punching me for dropping your PlayStation.
Maybe.
That's the most brotherly
I mean,
thing
just
I
tell
could
it.
ever
Just
imagine.
tell it anyway.
At
At this point, we've teased it.
Yeah.
I was probably in my early 20s, which would have put you in your late teens, maybe. I was like 21 or something like that. And I was in my room. I think I was watching the Robin Williams movie, Man of the Year.
Great movie.
Is it?
No, sorry.
No.
I'm
You're
still
actually
searching
kinda
for this
suck.
photo.
Yeah, it's not a great movie. But anyway, that's totally besides the point. But Sean came into my room, and he was sweaty. Like really, really sweaty.
Like too sweaty.
And he said to me, James, one. And I was like, what's up, man? And he's like, one. James, one. And he put his hand on my bed. I think it was like a light green bedsheet at the time. And he put his hand on my bed, and when he pulled it off, there was like this big handprint of blood. So he'd cut his hand. And he kept saying to me, he's like, James, one. Like he could only say James
This.
and the word
I'm
one.
assuming you were horrified because this sounds.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
This sounds
for
like
sure.
a horror movie.
Well,
This is Cape Fear. I've never seen Cape Fear again, but
this is exactly what happens in Cape Fear. Well, I had known him to be hanging out with some nefarious types
okay.
and involved in some wild drugs. So I assumed he was just on some, but it's a weird drug trip thing. But
Did
it
a
was
bunch of Molly, and he was just like,
yeah,
one.
but it was, yeah, no, it was definitely not great. So I remember, I think I left you in the room and I went downstairs and like the kitchen was trashed.
Like a raccoon just rummaged through the house.
Pretty much, yeah. And I remember there was like an energy drink thrown on the floor,
Oh,
and maybe
shit.
there were dishes strewn around. And I
You
remember
fucking crushed an energy drink.
there was a
That's what got you.
there was a socket, like an electrical socket, that you had sort of ripped half off of.
Oh my god.
Like, so the socket was fucked.
He was
because
actually
you-
watching Tool Time.
that
He was all fucked up. He got home. He's like, "We're gonna make a sandwich and watch Tool Time." He started ripping gauntlets out of the
might
house.
have been what happened. And I didn't really know what to do, so I called our sister, who at the time lived maybe about 20 minutes away, and she was, I want to say, 8.5 months pregnant.
Jesus, you piece of shit.
But I didn't want to call. I wasn't going to call like the ambulance or something, because God knows what the ramifications of that are. So I called Michelle, and she came down with our brother-in-law Brian, and basically you just needed time to come down.
Yeah.
And man, I remember you just having this like deep regret afterwards.
Were you like fully aware of everything that happened in that moment, or were you like just blackout drunk?
No, I remember everything. I remember the whole thing.
So what
I
were you
remember
trying
what
to
You were
say
definitely
to me?
really high.
So I was very high.
Yeah. Were you drunk too?
I wasn't drunk.
Okay.
I had been smoking weed all day.
Okay.
And then I stupidly, I decided to eat some mushrooms also.
Okay,
I
that
was-
makes sense then.
I was alone. I was alone. I was with my friend earlier when we were smoking weed, and I popped some mushrooms, not even thinking. And he left, and I remember lying there on my bed. And I was alone, and my bed was on the ground. I had a mattress just on the floor, and I started feeling the world spinning around me, and I started freaking out.
Yeah.
I started being like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. The world's spinning. I need to get out. So I run downstairs. I run into the living room, and we had this iPod charger
Showing some belly.
that had a flashing red light, and
Like the Great
I'm
Gatsby.
sitting there just tripping, looking at this blinking red light. It's dark down there, and it's just this red light blinking, and I was like, I am gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And then I also was supposed to pick up my friend that night.
Right.
I'm assuming you
So
didn't do
in the
that.
back of my
No.
head, I knew I had to go pick up my friend. So I
That's
was
a good
like-
idea. Yeah, go get into a car.
I was like, I don't know how to live or how to operate anything.
It's like, if
So
I could use
ran
my
out.
legs, I would.
I run out. My car was parked over here. I ran into my car, and my car was a huge mess. I always had garbage in there. There was a bunch of shit in my car all the time. And I started getting so confused because there was so much stuff there. I didn't know how to operate any of this.
Overstimulated.
what is all this crap?
So I started throwing all the shit that was in the passenger seat into the back. I started throwing all the stuff in the back. I'm throwing everything back there. And I'm like, I'm going to simplify it. I can make it. I can make
oh
this
yeah,
work.
didn't you? Yeah, I
And
remember
then-
this. I forgot this
So-
part.
There was
So,
this equation
this
in your
is
head
where
you were
my-
trying to crunch.
This is where my head's at. I'm trying to simplify everything. I'm
Jesus
trying
Christ.
to throw all the shit in the
Forgot
back.
about
This is
Here I
pretty
am.
neurotic.
And then I go, all right, I'm gonna really simplify this. And I ripped off both of the fucking things.
They're like the turn signal, and then you just
I just
ripped
ripped
them off.
them off.
You broke them off like the
I,
Hulk.
I broke them off. I just
Jesus.
absolutely
because
ripped
you're like,
them out.
this is too complicated.
Too much.
You're like driving's too complicated. I need to make it simpler.
So that's likely where I got my bleeding hand from. Just ripping them out.
I completely
One.
forgot about that.
One.
I don't know what happened, like, with like how I trashed the downstairs. Likely, I was just having my freak out. So at that point,
You were just hungry, bro.
at that point, I knew like I'm not going to pick up my friend tonight. So I
you
ran
just
back.
destroyed your vehicle.
And
I
you
ran back
broke your
inside,
car.
and I think I saw the red light again, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, oh shit.
Rum.
I gotta go up to find James. I gotta ask him one question. I gotta ask him one question.
Do you
I gotta go
remember
up and I
the-
gotta ask him
And
a
that's
question.
all.
One
Do you
question.
remember the
Get out.
one question you were supposed to ask me?
I do not remember.
Oh,
I do not
forever.
remember.
I think we could all assume.
Probably like, what the fuck
Like,
is
what's
life?
wrong with me?
What am I?
Why is this happening?
What is anything?
See, this is why I would never eat shrooms. I
yeah,
can't do
because some
anything.
crazy
I-
shit like this would happen.
Okay, but I'll tell you this. This is the only time I had a bad experience on mushrooms. I've had a bunch of other experience on
Still,
mushrooms.
though, it's not
where
worth
I
it.
had a good time.
Yeah,
Roulette
I would
wheel of-
become so crazy and
have to
neurotic
be
after
in-
that.
The
Like,
thing is, you have to be in the right headspace.
I never am. I never am.
I forgot
So I
about
had
your
a custom
car.
meltdown.
So I get upstairs and I'm trying to ask James one question. Is James won? And that's all I can say. James won. Won.
like a man ape, bringing it back to
The bloody handprint.
to Earth.
So James goes off to call Michelle and figure shit out. And I remember this is the last thing before I came down and I was myself again. Was I was lying on the ground and I was like, I thought I was a tree. And I was like, oh fuck, this is it. This is the rest of my life. I'm just a tree now.
What's that?
I'm just a tree.
And then it turns into that.
And
that
I think I
poem,
pissed myself.
The
Did you?
Giving
I
Tree.
think I pissed myself.
On my bed?
No, I was on the floor.
You peed yourself from shrooms.
I think I was on the floor.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a thing.
Do trees pee themselves?
Yeah.
I apparently
Yeah,
that tree
I don't
did.
think they go to the bathroom. Do you think trees walk and go to the bathroom?
Trees don't pee.
I don't know.
They
I was
sap, is that what
high.
that is?
Yeah, they
James-
sure squirt. I know this one's not. This one's not very squirty, but
Old Bucky Sue.
old Bucky McSue.
Bucky McSue.
That
good
was
tree.
I completely forgot that you destroyed your car. Well, what did you do? Like you got that fixed?
I got it fixed. I just ripped off the
So what
did you explain
ripped
that?
off the turn? Yeah, that's a
I
good
ripped off
question.
the turning
How
signal
did
and
They
you?
were like, "How did you do this?" And you were like, "I ate a bunch of fucking shrooms."
Oh, they didn't ask me.
I would. I definitely would.
No questions
It's
asked.
not like a dent on the front.
Thank you, Bradley's Auto Repair. No questions asked.
Bradley's Auto Repair, you guys need to get your
Appreciate
shit
you guys.
together.
Oh, Bradley's is great. I love Bradley's.
Bradley's
but,
is awesome.
Wow, yeah, that was a blast from the. I remember.
It was,
A blast from the past.
it was an experience. I'm sorry.
No, it's.
That
okay.
sounds like a bad time.
It was.
But looking back on it, you can take some joy out of it.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've done some terrible things that I think I could just like look back and laugh on now. But like in the next day,
Oh,
you
I
were
felt,
like,
I felt horrendous.
I don't even want to see anyone.
Well, because
I
like
don't-
everybody knew,
I felt
like
horrendous.
because I called Michelle and then like mom found. I don't think I told mom, but mom knew,
Oh yeah.
and I gotta imagine that was not a great day for you.
No,
The day after.
I just felt like embarrassed.
Yeah.
I just felt like I
which you definitely should have.
shit the bed on this one.
Yeah.
I really
Almost
shit
literally.
the bed on this one.
Have you ever shit the bed
Almost.
before?
I'm
Have
I'm
I ever
assuming you have.
I have not.
No.
I shit my
No, I
pants in my
never shit
car
the
one
bed.
time and got it everywhere.
I
Not
do-
this car.
Of course, I know that story.
Post car, yeah. I'm not even gonna get into that.
You hit a speed bump or something.
I hit a speed bump, pooped my pants. My little brother drives that car now, which is awesome.
The poop
I have
car?
both had sex and pooped in the seat that he drives in.
at the same time.
Hopefully different
Not at the same. Yes, we were actually driving while having sex. You see.
Like, oh, this
We
is
hit
so
a bump,
good. Oh.
And it came and shat at the same time.
I'm so sorry.
Well, on that note, we have
really
a
top that
very no jokes. We have a very special musical guest that I'm
Oh
really
Jesus, I
excited.
forgot about this.
So it's
Oh my God, I want this one. This one looks
It's warm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
it was up your ass.
stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the Mazda 3 performance stage, Silent Disco.
Sorry.
Got to trust your instinct
Boom.
and let go of regret. You got to bet on yourself. Cause that's your best friend. All mixed up. Don't know what to do. So just get off of my ass. All mixed up. Don't know what to do. So just get off of your ass. Got to trust your instincts and let go of regret. You got to bet on yourself. That's all you get. That's, you know.
Boy, big back boy, boy.
Always coming Keep me coming.
Oh,
Keep me coming.
Yes, girl, you have to
Keep me coming.
Oh, keep me coming. Let's go, you have to keep me coming. Oh, keep me coming. You want to say no to keep me coming. Oh, you want to be down the right, about you on the back, about the pound, the bed, you know about that. You know, you about the money, the food, the about the money, the food, the about the bed, the find it, find it, don't mind the time, I do that about the bed,
God, I feel good.